that the sound is off on YouTube. Okay, so we're up. Okay, there we go. The sound is off. Okay.
Sound off all the time.
Okay. All right, I'd like to call the Franklin Township Joint Historical Commission and Historical Architectural Review Board meeting to order on Tuesday, August 5th, 2025 at 7:07. In attendance are Ann Latimer, Sally Gallagher, Chuck Phillips, Lou Mandich, and myself, Paul Gassi. Sarah Beth is here. Yeah, she's.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a face. Sorry, and Sarah Beth Koha. Sorry about that, Sarah. Okay, we also have one member of the public present. Okay, again, we have public comment. Do you have any comments you want to make before the meeting? No? Okay. All right, so we will move on to the approval of the prior minutes, which are from the June meeting. Does anybody have any corrections or other changes they would like to have made to the minutes?
No.
Okay, hearing none, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Forgot to read it.
Well, but you can make a motion.
I'll make a motion that the minutes from the June meeting of the Combined Historical Commission and Historical Architectural Review Board be approved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so that's a motion by Mr. Mandich, a second by Ms. Latimer. All in favor, say aye or signal by raising your hand.
Aye.
Okay, something happened with Sarah Beth, so.
I said aye.
Okay, it was this weird little line moving along the bottom and I didn't know what was going on, sorry. Okay, that's unanimous. Okay, we can move on to the first item on the agenda. And that's updating historic resource surveys. That remains on hold. So there's nothing to report or discuss on that. And that brings us to Churchill Cemetery. Nan, you've been the one who's been the most active the past month or so.
Right. The two boys and I worked there. We had combined 30 hours up there on the hill.
Wow.
A huge pile of brush. I texted Jim at Yardworks on Monday because he said that he couldn't do it until August. So I thought I'd get on. I said, I just want you to come and look at the pile and let me know like how long you think it's going to take to chip it. But I didn't hear back from him. So I'm away this weekend. So I'll call him on Tuesday, a week from what's today? A week from today. And see if we can't come up with a date. Because I'm concerned he's going to need help. My boys are going to start to get busy at the end of August. One's going to college and the other one plays ice hockey. So he has preseason type stuff that's going on. So I need to get a date from him because I'll need the two boys there to drag it down the hill.
Right. Well, we can arrange it so there'll be other people there. We can try and get people from the FSA there too.
Yeah, I mean, but I think the most important thing is to try to get the date from Jim and then try
Right.
to fill in the people. I also, from Sharon Norris, who used to be the secretary there, I got 3 emails from the local schools that she works for the Avondale Borough now.
Mhm.
2 boys to help them with a project there. So I have those emails. So if my boys are busy trying to get anybody to help us, it's a big pile of brush,
Right.
big pile. And I will talk to the landowners and see if we could possibly back the chipper up their driveway. If they say no, we're going to have to drag it down the hill. It's like where the pile is like right next to where the original pile was. It's kind of where the foundation of the church where we think.
Mhm.
So it's as close as we can get, but it's going to be a long day. Yeah, so that's where we are. And then in September, I'll go back and I'll start to spray the autumn olive, which was most of the brush. I left the stems long on purpose so it would, leaf out so it could be hit with the Roundup. And then in the late winter, we can cut it and then paint the stumps. That stuff just never dies. It never dies. So that's the deal. Yeah, so we let the sun shine in. It was nice to see the tombstones. They got some sunlight.
Mhm.
Yeah, so yeah, so that's where we are with that.
Sounds good. I mail ordered for the D2, the sort of passive cleaner for the headstones. It comes out of, I'm not sure where the manufacturer is, but it's a substance that's recommended by the Pennsylvania Hallowed Grounds, which is sort of the people I've been talking to all along. That's Crystal Crampton was vice chair until recently of Hallowed Grounds. And so I have it. I have a gallon of the stuff. And I also picked up a sort of spray pump, a kind of decent sized, sturdy seaming spray pump that we can use to apply it. You're basically supposed to apply it with at least a 24-hour dry period, I believe, after you apply it so that it has a chance to settle in and begin to do its thing. And then it's supposed to just happen gradually over several months.
My concern with the tombstones is that it's the acid rain. I mean, we can clean them up but I mean, looking at the difference from the pictures that were taken when they originally
Right.
did it on what's the name of that website? Find a Grave.
Right.
I mean, what they look like now, it's like, whoa, just how quickly they're kind of like I don't know, it's just, you can't really read it anymore.
Yeah, they're deteriorating.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. Yeah, I know. There's one especially that is pretty much illegible. I don't know if there's a protective solution to that.
Garbage bag over the top. I mean, I don't know, the ones that were underground that we kind of discovered that I keep putting dirt over. I don't know what to do. I mean, do we put them back up and then I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a question that we have to think about.
I think maybe is where a consultation with Hallowed Grounds or Stephen Berg out in Shippensburg would be helpful. So, and maybe even Crystal Crampton could tell us what she did with respect to Bucktoe Cemetery.
Yeah, that's what to do.
Yeah, so I guess I'll talk to Crystal.
It's the suggestions, or do we this is way down the road, get a small plaque that actually doesn't deteriorate that says what their name and what was on the tombstone originally? So it's there in case people are looking for their loved ones. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I know I understand what you're talking about.
So
Because we do have, thanks to Find a Grave,
Yeah.
we do know what was on them and we can identify the stones from the photographs.
Yeah.
Which I suspect could be 15 years old now.
Well, thank God they took the pictures because a lot of them are just done now.
Right. Cleaning.
So that's where we are with that. I haven't been back. I've been there Sally, did you stop by? Have you taken a look? I haven't been back in a 3-2.
No, I haven't been back since probably early July. It's on my mind. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, well, no, there's no rush. I mean, so the next step for me is to go and start to spray the stems of the autumn olive to try to kill that. But that
Yeah.
takes years. I'm on year 4 here at the farm, and I kind of finally have it under control. Kind of. It just doesn't die.
Well, since you've cleared all that out, it'll be a lot easier for me to try to, find those graves and
Yeah, you can see it, but be careful because it's a tripping hazard because the stems are long.
okay, yeah,
So be real careful. Look at your feet constantly.
yeah.
Yeah, but we'll get that finished over the late fall and winter because that's the
Yeah.
best time to spray it. Because that stuff, what it does is it knows that it's going into dormancy, so you spray it, it actually sucks it down into the roots. Where
Oh, yeah,
in the spring it doesn't because it's going this way. You want to go that way.
yeah, yeah, good.
Still doesn't.
Yeah, when that time comes, I've got my own couple bottles for that, so we can
Spray
marshal
away.
those.
But anyway, so that's where we are. So I'll keep after Jim. He was really nice to offer. Apparently the fella that works for him has family members he set up there. I haven't met him yet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he has a reason for donating his time. Jim's donating the machines and he's donating his time.
Nice. That's really nice.
Very nice.
You did a lot of work. That's great.
Yeah.
Boy, did a lot of work. I did some, but
Well,
anyway,
your expense.
Did you encounter much poison ivy when you were working?
I didn't get any. I have that stuff. I ran home. I did that. I didn't see much poison ivy. The honeybees came back, but I
Right.
noticed after we cleared all the brush and the sun came in, the honeybees were not there when we went back for the 3rd time. So they must have left.
I sprayed the what I could find of poison ivy when I was up there with the FSA. I went off and I didn't see much. I remember there being more.
Not too much, but there is some.
Yeah. So that's something else that we need to spray at the same time.
But there's no big vines like climbing up the trees or anything like that. So it's just going to be down by your feet. Yeah, you can spray it. I mean, while we're spraying, we'll spray that stuff as well.
Right.
Although it is a native plant, just to let you know.
Yeah, no, I'm aware it's a native plant. It does make visiting the cemetery interesting, however.
Right. No, I went home every time we went and scrubbed down with the poison ivy. So
Yeah.
anyway, so that's where we are.
Okay, that sounds good. Is there anything else to add on the topic, or we'll move on?
Not me.
Okay, so I did speak to Chuck McBaugh about, emailed. I got him a reestablished email connection with him. He hasn't done anything down at Mount Olivet. And so he had indicated that it would be fine if somebody wanted to go down there and do organized cleanup work if we organize something. And so I thought that when we were certain that we sort of have the situation under control at Church Hill, because what it's going to be now is a lot of chainsawing and maintenance, I hope. I'm not hoping for chainsawing, but hoping the rest will be maintenance. If they're looking for a project, that's another project that this FSA could be doing. So that's sort of what I'm looking at that as at the moment. But Chuck said he'd been busy, and so he hadn't done anything. And since I've been busy myself, I was, needless to say, sympathetic. The Mason-Dixon Art Corner Heritage Interpretation and Connectivity Project. So there was a public meeting here on the 17th of July. It was hybrid. I was managing it. I think I did okay. I can't remember Beth's last name now off the top of my head. But she did an excellent presentation, an overview from of what's in the plan, and the plan is out for public comment. It has been advertised, but I'm not so sure how many people are really aware of it. Public comment period ends the end of the week, actually. It's now going to have a glossary in there to explain various Mason-Dixon and art boundary terms, which we probably should have written the glossary before we did the project, because even some of the people who are working on the project had trouble with that. But I think it'll be helpful going forward as a sort of reference work. And then once they do what they have to do in terms of incorporating any public comment, they will produce a final plan that will then be sent to the 4 townships for their approval, and they will come to supervisors meeting. That may not be till September. I assume that won't be till September. It can't be till September. They won't have it done by mid-August. So sometime in September, depending upon when the meetings at various townships cycle, they will probably be discussed at all of the 4 townships, unless somebody's got a meeting late in August, and it could be discussed. So that's where that stands. And eventually what happens after that is the 4 townships take the plan and decide how to proceed with it. And one of the first things that will have to be done is establishing a Friends of the Mason-Dixon Art Corner, et cetera, plan, which may simply just consist of the 4 historical commissions, but it could also consist of people who are not on the historical commission. And it need not be limited to residents of the 4 townships. So I think that's it on that. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. 896 roadwork. So there was just a meeting about that the other night, which I was not able to attend. The supervisors workshop meeting. And so I got some details from Eileen. But Sarah Beth, were you perhaps in on that? I know you have a very keen interest in all this.
Yeah, I attended it via Zoom. There wasn't a whole lot of new news. They basically talked about what the physical look of the roundabout is going to be, and it sounds like our township wants like the most basic concrete, not color looking roundabout.
Mm-hmm.
But they did say the project is supposed to go out to bid by the end of this year, and they still plan to break ground next spring. And they don't know what it'll be up to the contractor what order they do things in, and so the township did try to impress upon PennDOT the importance of keeping various folks in the loop, and that the township would like to be able to put things up on the website to keep people informed. So hopefully that will happen, but it sounds like there's a lot of skepticism about that.
Yeah. Eileen mentioned 2 things that surprised me when she was talking to me. She said that the time frame is now could be 4 years.
It did say that. Yep.
Yep. Whereas I always thought it was going to be roughly 2.5. But I gather there's a year and a half that'll be set aside for utility work in advance of the actual road work, and then the road work will take place.
They did say that. Yes.
Yeah. And I was surprised because when they spoke about this at the last meeting, they had indicated at the time that they hoped to have a contractor by September. who could actually start staging in the fall. So that's slipped again.
It has.
Yeah. Which is right now, I don't mind not having to deal with yet another roadwork project on 896. But yeah, so I'm not looking forward to 4 years of
Yeah.
intermittent.
We certainly aren't either. Good God.
Yeah.
I'll be old by then. Is that recorded anywhere, that meeting?
Yeah, it's so if you go to I believe there should be a link actually on the website. If not, I can figure out which I can see where the YouTube.
Barb meant to attend and she forgot.
Yeah, it was recorded. It is on YouTube and
Okay.
there should be a link. If you give me a quick chance to look here. Let's see here.
The township emailed the link to it earlier today.
Oh,
Did they?
okay, that's good. Then we'll have that, sure.
See, oh yes, I see that. It would have come in under Board of Supervisors workshop meeting.
Okay,
It's this one here.
okay, good.
Okay. I gather there was also a report on the Big Elk Creek State Park from Andrea, and it sounds like the plans now call basically for a number of parking lots, maybe 4 parking lots, which that doesn't surprise me. They need more parking. And 2 buildings, one essentially a maintenance shed and the other offices, bathrooms, and sort of an interpretive educational center combined. So it's certainly scaled down from what was originally suggested. And if I recall correctly, they have to wrap this up and then they have to have another public presentation before it gets finalized.
Where are the parking lots and buildings going to be off Sicklersville Road?
I don't know. That part, I don't know. I was hoping to figure that out by watching the YouTube video.
Oh,
Yeah. So that part I could not tell you. Let me just make a note here. Okay, so let me go back to my. Oh, I can't believe it did this to me. All right, where's maximize this? So I'm gonna skip over America 250 for the moment, unless somebody has something they want to say, because it's usually Kathy Goins who has the most interest in this, and she's not here tonight. Is that okay with everybody?
mhm.
Okay. And there have been no changes to the township website or the township history, nor has there been any additional work on multi-municipal identification of historic resources in the state park, although I do want to get out there and do some of that. In the fall in New London, we will be having a talk on the Pomeroy and Newark Railroad, and that will be on September 16th, I believe. That should be a Tuesday. Let me check my calendar.
Yes, that's a Tuesday.
At 7 o'clock. And the speaker will be Jack Hill, who wrote a book on the railroad. And then tentatively in November, we're thinking of having a program that focuses on local small museums. But that's not finalized yet. We're thinking of perhaps having 2 speakers who run small museums and then having a handout that would describe the various small museums that one can visit in the area. There are actually a lot of little museums that they're not open, such as the Red Rose Inn functions as a museum and is open occasionally. Or the Newark Historical Society maintains a museum down at the train station there.
That's a good little museum. I've been there.
Yeah. So the idea was basically, we thought it might be of interest as the winter approaches and people may have time and want to do something locally. And so these are some options that they could go see. That's the thought for now. And we're thinking of having at least one talk in 2026 focused on the founding fathers. We'll just have to figure out what speaker we can line up and what the focus of the talk will be. We'd like to emphasize folks with local connections, and there are 4 people who actually went to Francis Allison's school, I guess, that was in New London. It's not at the current site of the Township Building, which was a later iteration of the school. But Thomas McCain, George Reed, I believe. I want to say James Smith, but I'm not sure about that. So there were 3 delegates and also the secretary of the Continental Congress were all educated in part there. So it's a pretty good local connection, but we just have to see if we can line up somebody who can speak to that. So that's for next year, and I don't know exactly when that would be, but in September on the 16th, we definitely have Jack Hill lined up to come in and talk about the railroad.
That's the Academy. That's
Yes, the
7
New London
o'clock.
Academy.
7
Yeah.
o'clock?
7 o'clock,
Okay.
correct. Yep. Are there any other local events? You always have something.
Well, I went to the Lafayette Day at Randall Spackman's farm on Saturday, and I didn't realize that Lafayette's interpreter, reenactor had such a full day because he spoke there, he wandered around there, they went for the walk. He found the spot where he was wounded there, and he was stayed in character. Then I guess he paraded through Parksburg or something. And then that night they had a special dinner for him in Westchester, followed by a costumed ball. I don't want to say costume ball, but people were dressed up in colonial finery, and they had the music of the period and dances and stuff. And then he went on Sunday to go to a bunch of other places. So it was a big deal. And all that whole event was arranged by Bruce Mowdy, I think. So he might be a speaker. You might want to.
Yeah, I know Bruce has written a book on Lafayette.
Yeah.
I know that, and also Gene Pasale had written.
Yes, he has too.
He has a book on Lafayette and some other books on the founders. But Gene had announced his retirement from speaking, but he's still writing. He had an article in, I believe, the Chester County Press in July. So
Well, Bruce
we'll probably
spoke,
check in with him.
Bruce spoke at last one of our antique car club meetings, but he spoke about, and he has a book about Cavalcante's escape and the reverberations from that. So that's pretty interesting.
Also, the 300th anniversary of London, Britain is going to result in a sort of, I wouldn't call it all-day event, but there'll be associated events from about 10 to 4 in the park down by the park office and the Welsh Baptist Meeting House. There will also be more events and more vendors similar to the Fall Festival in Nickel Park. And like the last Saturday. Yeah, it's Saturday the 27th. So it'll start with a nature hike in White Lake Creek Preserve, and then I think they get underway in Nickel Park at about 11. And then there'll be a couple historical hikes in the preserve, and there may be some other information in the meeting house if we can get the park to open the meeting house. We'll probably have to have somebody in there babysitting the meeting house in
Is
order for that to
The
happen.
Quaker Meeting House?
No, this
Oh,
is the Welsh Baptist, what's called the London Track Meeting House,
Okay.
but it was a Welsh Baptist.
where's that?
That's down
I should know.
in the park where like Sharpless Road and Indian Town Road.
Oh, okay.
And it's just the ticking tomb.
Yeah.
So, so that's happening on the 27th of September. And they progress very far in lining up people and getting things done. So, it'll be quite a day. They're very excited about it.
Paul,
Yes.
this isn't really a specific event, but I spent last Thursday and Friday down at the site where they're rebuilding the Rudolph and Arthur covered bridge. And they
Right.
have now put up the side walls, like the trusses, the framework of the bridge. So
Mhm.
if you go and look, it sort of looks like the inside of a covered bridge now. And then they'll be putting on the roof and the siding, and it's really coming along. They think they're going to be done in September. So if anybody wants to see it in progress, now's a good time to go down and visit.
Okay, this is the, was it Camp Bonsall?
It's Camp Bonsall Road. Yeah.
Right, yeah, okay.
That's one of the mysteries we're trying to figure out is why Camp Bonsall is spelled 3 different ways depending on what you look at, including the road signs on either side of the bridge.
Uh,
I was watching Aerial America. And it was about Vermont. And evidently a bridge that is built out of timber typically lasts about 15, they said 15. So 20 years maybe. If you cover it, it lasts 100. That's why we have covered bridges
Hmm.
to protect the lumber.
mhm.
I thought it was for
Right.
horses.
Right? And they can last longer than a concrete bridge too.
Yeah. Just by covering it. It was amazing.
Okay, is there any other comments before we move on to public comment? Okay. Do you? No?
You want to
Okay.
introduce yourself? Joe, sorry. Sabronia.
Okay. All right, so with that, we'll adjourn at, my goodness, 8:20.
It's early.
Yeah. No, 7:40.
7:40.
Yeah, well, yeah, it would be 8:20 if you moved the hand.
It
around.
has been.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm,
You know, the young
Just-
kids can't even read clocks anymore.
I was going to say.
Yeah. yeah, I know. Anyway, so
Well,
I have to look around. I'm not sure if I'm going to be around in October or not. I may be traveling. I'm not planning on meeting in September unless we have a reason from something that we have to deal with, like a COA.
Is that Community Day something you're involved with on the 28th?
The 27th, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be assisting with the historical tours because I did that earlier. So, yeah, because they're going to be sort of spread thin because they'll be running 2 sites.
Oh,
Yeah, so, yeah, because they'll be at Nickel Park and they'll be in White Lake Creek State.
where were you last year? That's,
It was
I
White Lake
missed
Creek
last
State.
year.
Yeah, it
The year
was last year.
before, I guess it was.
I don't know. Well, there was one, there was the Franklin Fall Festival.
That's the one.
Yeah, no, they're not doing it this year.
Oh,
They're,
okay.
they're essentially, it's a lot of work and they need a break. So, but we're planning on having one, for 2026. At least I would like them to have one because that would be the time for the township to celebrate. 1776 locally. So, because you don't have to do it in July. You can do it whatever, and if they tried to do it in July, everybody else would.
No, everybody else. Yeah.
Somewhere else. Yeah. All right, so we're adjourned, and you had something you wanted to say, Sally? Was that?
Actually, I was just going to ask about the fall festival. I didn't know if they were.
Yeah,
doing-
no, they're not doing it this year. So
Yeah, that makes sense to hold off.
yeah, it was just it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And trying to get all the volunteers together. It's just a busy enough day for us going out to our tent. We're not setting up our tent or our table. We're just
Yeah.
bringing supplies and materials and getting out there and sitting there and working with people, but they have to park people. They have to,
Yeah.
so, I mean, it might be possible for them to sort of scale it back a little bit to make it more manageable, because I don't think you have to try and attempt to do everything, but I do think that last year's Fall Festival, which focused on the agricultural heritage of the township, they had sort of an ag-based petting zoo, and they had all the farm equipment, and they had hay rides. They had somebody who was a blacksmith. They had a lot going on, and it was a lot to set up. And then they had all these vendors as well. And yeah, I think they were exhausted.
Yeah.
And they needed a break. And I'm sympathetic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So,
Just wanted-
okay.
Do you guys have my application?
So you have the Victorian House over here. So that application only comes up to us after the building inspector has signed off on it. So I don't have it. No. Okay, well, I don't have anything. So I don't know. I apologize for that if there's a mix-up, but nobody let me know. And usually we need 2 weeks' notice to get everything pulled together in order to do it, because there's usually things that we need additional, such as pictures, and we need to pull together history on the property, because a lot of this is related to the historical district, and so we need to have all this material.
Oh, geez.
Okay, well, I would suggest that you get in touch with the township tomorrow if you can, because I have no information whatsoever. Okay? And I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I don't have anything to look at. Well, yeah, but we can't do anything. We can't do anything. It does, we have, so I would,
Do you have a timeline of the contractors can start?
I totally start.
yeah, no, we can't. I mean, we're not in a position, unfortunately, to do anything. So, yeah. However, that may mean from the point of view of hard members that we may have a September meeting. So I just mentioned that now. So keep that in mind.
Which house to choose?
One right here. Old
The
Township.
Oh,
yeah, the white Victorian.
the one that's right by
Yeah.
the post office.
Yeah.
That's-
All right, I'm gonna just say good night to everyone. Okay?
Okay.
Good night, everyone.
All right.
Good night.
So I'll go shut this down. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, but I don't have any information whatsoever. And I should have been sent a lot of materials.
Yeah, yeah.